Good afternoon. Mr. Reed, are you interested in learning more about the Church of Jesus Christ?
Yeah.
Let's talk about the film Heretic, which is the latest film from A24, and this is actually directed from Scott Beck, Bryan Woods, who worked also on A Quiet Place. Now, I had the chance to watch this movie back at TIFF about 2 months ago, and I will tell you, I wasn't sure how to feel about it then. I rewatched it recently, and I think I have my full thoughts, I think. Let's get into this, and we're going to go ahead and get into some about the film and all of that. No spoilers, of course, because I am not going to spoil anything here. Spoilers at the end of the week in another video, so stay tuned. This is a film starring Hugh Grant, Chloe East, Sophie Thatcher, and also Topher Grace is in here, which is definitely interesting. But this movie revolves around these two Mormon missionaries who come to the door of a character played by Hugh Grant called Mr. Reed. And Mr. Reed is somebody who's very interested in theology and wants to find out more about what exactly is a perfect religion and what makes it perfect, right? And that's all I'll say. We eventually fall into this cat and mouse game that gets very thrilling, and there's a lot of text here. That's something I'll talk about in a bit. First and foremost, I watched this movie. It was about 9:30 p.m. in Toronto, and they came out, they introduced it, the filmmakers, Hugh Grant, Chloe East, Sophie Thatcher, all there. And I will tell you, as soon as I sat down and this movie started, I really have to tell you, Chung Hoon's cinematography just pops up beautifully. It is one of the best things about this movie because he does such an amazing job at really placing you here in this situation, really making Mr. Reed's home feel so claustrophobic, and the way the colors and everything just sort of bounce off of one another, and the shadows cast into a person's face, and the way the light sort of comes off of Hugh Grant's character at times. It is so menacing. It is so devilish, I could say. And that's one of the things I will tell you is so great about the film is the cinematography first and foremost. I will tell you also that the script here is so sharp. It is so witty, and it is very much so a snappy, and it's always going and it's going and it's going. It is very heavy in the dialogue department. And so that means you have to have a script where the people won't be lost with it, and there's a lot of it that's intriguing. And I will tell you, Heretic has that. So, I mean, we're off the bat really good already, right? We have great look, we have great dialogue, we have amazing sound as well. There's such a way that they really bring to life this whole house and the way it sounds from the trinkets going off in the background and also to the storms and all of that. Like, it really feels engrossing here. And I'm already checking off a lot of marks, and I'm myself thinking, why didn't I really love this movie as many people do love it? Well, let's get into the acting here, which of course a home run as well. I'm always loving to see Sophie Thatcher in more things. I love her in Yellowjackets, and I think she is such a phenomenal actress and has a bright future. I also think Chloe East is great here, and I wasn't really familiar with Chloe East as much. I've only seen her in the Fabelmans, but here she really delivers and makes the movie her own at a point, which I will get to in my spoiler talk. But I think Chloe East has such an amazing range here, and I think their line delivery as well really adds to the tension that this movie wants to have throughout. That is one of the things about this film. It is tense filled, and every time something happens, you're just like, oh man, please be okay. You know, like you're just wondering what's gonna happen next. Hugh Grant as Mr. Reed, phenomenal. Like I said, Hugh Grant is devilish in this, one of his best roles in a while, honestly. And Hugh Grant has talked about taking on these more menacing roles and being sort of a villain of sorts now, and here it is full on villainy. And I just really applaud Hugh Grant because his line delivery just makes each of these moments that much more dreadful, and you're just so worried to what is about to happen to these young girls. Now, where I don't really vibe with the movie, I will say, is that the film is very text heavy, and the first half of the film can really drain you, especially when they start getting to the theological elements of the film. And I will say, as somebody like myself who's really dived into religion and stuff like that, I did find it interesting that they were diving into these sort of parallels and also differences between all of the major religions and what came before it and all of that. But at the same time, I just felt like it just kept trying to drive it home again and again, where I feel like the film could have cut out some parts here and there. It would have been a lot better if it was a lot sharper with it. I think that it really got its point across at certain moments, and then it felt like the dialogue was like, but wait, did you comprehend it? Like, we want you to know this, right? Like, this is this and this and that. And I just feel like it was sort of like trying to really drill it in you, but then by the time the second half came in, I feel like that's when the movie really found its pacing, and I really love that aspect of it where we're really feeling the thrills of it all. And yes, it has a good pace to get there, but I feel like at a certain point the pacing was great, and then we just like started to really slow down too much, where I was just like, let's just get into it. Let's get into that door, right? Let's see what's up next. And that's what my biggest problem with the film was, where I felt in the first half we started off strong and I was feeling it, and then in the middle of that first half I was just like, yeah, I get it, now let's see what's next, right? And I just thought that that was the only weak part about the movie for me, is its pacing. It starts to get a little bit too slow, it starts to get redundant, and I really was starting to get a little frustrated with it. That second half of the film, especially the final act, is some of the strongest I've seen all year, and it really showcased a lot of these actors' brilliant performance with 100%. The Scott Beck and Bryan Woods duo here do an amazing job with the camera work too in that second half. Like, there is a shot in there I just can't stop thinking about with Chloe East, and I'll talk about it in my spoilers, because I was just like, that was exactly what I wanted to see. Like, when it started I was like, tell me it's going in that direction, and it absolutely does. This film is filled with a lot of twists and turns that you don't expect either, which are great, and I've loved that the marketing has kind of strayed away from that and really just made it more of a whole theological debate between Chloe East, Sophie Thatcher, and Hugh Grant. Overall, like I said, I watched at TIFF. I really wasn't vibing with it then. I don't know if it was because it was a late night showing and I had just watched a ton of movies that day and I was just tired, but I caught it last week at a screening that A24 had, where we had some blueberry pies for free. It was a blueberry pie. A24, did you trick me or not? But no, I'm kidding. All kidding aside, this is still a great movie, especially if you're not really into theology and religions and all of that, not really dived into it. I think that you're going to find out about some very interesting facts here that are going to probably blow your mind maybe, and if you're into theology and all of that and you've read it, it might be a good way to sort of explore those themes again, like it was for me. Overall though, I'm here for the performances from Hugh Grant, Sophie Thatcher, Chloe East, which are amazing. I'm also here for Chung Chung-hoon's incredible cinematography and some of Scott Beck and Bryan Woods' very sharp and witty dialogue that is written so like incredible, honestly. Like, really gotta hand it to them for not making this feel very heavy at times, but I will say at times it does get redundant. That's my only problem. Still recommend seeing this if you want. I don't know if I would be the one to go run to the theaters. Check out some other thoughts and all of that before. I feel like this is a movie that I would prefer to watch at home cozy. That's just me. Anyways, as always, make sure you hit the subscribe button and hit that notification bell. We're on the road to 35,000 subscribers, less than 700 to go, I believe, right now at this point. We got a ton of videos coming this week and a lot more reviews, so don't miss out on any of that. And as always, follow us on our Instagram, follow us on our TikTok, our website. I'll see you all next time. Stay safe, stay positive.